How's it going, everybody? It's MTG Mondays, and I'm back with another deck tech, EDH deck tech. This time we'll be looking at Zur the Enchanter. If I get him in focus here. So Zur the Enchanter is a new deck that I've been working on for a while now, and it's been one of my favorites so far. This is an extremely fun deck. It is a toolbox-based deck, so I basically just play a bunch of enchantments that he can go get, and it's pretty fun. So Zur is 1, a white, a blue, and a black for a 1/4 flying human wizard. Whenever he attacks, I can search my library for an enchantment card with converted mana cost 3 or less, and put it into play. If I do, shuffle my library. So he does all sorts of neat little tricks when he gets to attack. So first off, we're going to start off with the lands. We have 6 basic islands, 4 basic plains, and 4 basic swamps. Then we move on to the non-basics, so the Lonely Sandbar, Seed of the Snod, Barren Moor, Tomb of Uremi, my colorless one, Temple of the False God. Now we're going to move into the double colors, Orzhov Guildgate, Temple of Silence, Godless Shrine, Dimir Guildgate, Creeping Tar Pit, Dreadship Reef, Dimir Aqueduct, Jawar Isle Refuge, Underground River, Darkslick Shores, Calciform Pools, Celestial Colonnade, Chrome Coast, Azorius Chancery, Rupture Spire, and a Command Tower. My favorite land in the deck. Okay, so now that we've gone over the lands, we're going to start off with just with some artifacts and non-enchantment things. So we've got Chromatic Lantern and Soul Ring for the mana rocks. Stratonic Resonator to copy Zur's ability, which is pretty good. Getting 2 enchantments is always better than getting 1. Howling Mine, just because I always like Howling Mine type effects in EDH. I don't know, it's beneficial for everybody. Winds of Wrath and Cataclysm are my sweepers because this one destroys all creatures that are not enchanted, and then this one lets everybody choose basically an artifact, creature, enchantment, and land, and I sacrifice the rest. And really the only creature I care about is Zur, and as long as I can keep an enchantment that keeps him around or keeps him protected, he'll be fine. Plea for Guidance is a tutor for enchantments. It gets 2 of them, so it's pretty nice. It does cost 6, but it's still pretty nice. It can get enchantments like Kismet, which cannot be found with Zur. So then here's a few counter spells I have in here: Spell Crumple and Remand. Next is a little bit of kind of solutions to a few things. So Capsize, this is also a part of a combo that I'll go over a little bit later, but Capsize can be a solution to a problem. Mortify is another solution. Now some drawing. So we got Brainstorm and Truth or Tale. And I don't know, I really like both of these because they're very efficient draw cards. The 2 Planeswalkers of the deck, Jace, Architect of Thought, and Venser the Sojourner. I really like Jace because if you're playing against a more aggro deck, you know, his +1 is pretty good. Not only that, but being able to draw those cards, basically a Truth or Tale, is pretty good. So then we go to Venser, Sojourner, the Sojourner. Being able to exile a permanent is kind of fun. You can mess around with enchantments that you put into play. You can, move them around. You can make Zur unblockable, so that's pretty good if he's already not unblockable. And it's, his emblem is pretty relevant too, because most everything in this deck is pretty low casting cost, other than like the non-enchantments and whatnot. But pretty much everything, all the enchantments are 3 or less, so that's pretty relevant. So now we're going to move on to the actual enchantments that Zur can find. First off, we're starting with I like to call them protection enchantments, because they do just that. They protect Zur and keep him around. So we've got Crab Umbra, my personal favorite one, Diplomatic Immunity, which gives the creature Shroud and gives this Shroud. Robe of Mirrors. Creature gets Shroud. Vanishing is very interesting because when a creature phases out, it takes all enchantments with it. So by paying 2, effectively, you keep Zur from getting killed, and you keep the enchantments too. Gift of Immortality is pretty fun. It's a new one that I put in from Theros, and I think it's from Theros. And I don't know, I've been messing around with it. It's not incredibly good on Zur because he likes to have more than just this one enchantment on him, but it's still pretty good. Chromatic Armor is kind of a wonky one. It's a little weird. So basically when it comes into play, you put 1 counter on it and you choose a color. And so then any damage that's dealt to him by a source of that color is reduced to 0. And you can pay mana to put a slight counter. So you can pay mana to put more counters on him, and X is equal to the number of counters already on him. So if he has 1, you pay 1, you can put an extra 1 on it, and you can choose another color, and you get to change the color that gets protected to that new color. So each time you want to change the protection, it's going to cost 1 more. I don't know, it's a pretty good way to give him a protection from a color, but not make any of the enchantments go away. It gives him a pseudo protection, and it's pretty nice. Penman's Aura, you're able to give him Shroud until the end of turn. This also counts for the pumping auras in the deck, because that is pretty much the way that this deck wins, is that you want Zur to hit the other player for maximum commander damage. So here's another one that is a protection spell in of itself, and also gives the creature +1/1. Spirit Mantle. Hyena Umbra is the same thing. First strike 1/1 totem armor. Possibly the best one of the deck is Imperial Armor. So for 3, it gets XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. There's another combo that you can do with another card that I can show you in a little while, and basically put as many cards as you want in your hand and, make him huge. Ethereal Armor is another one of the better pump spells, because there's so many enchantments around that it makes Zur very, very large. Triclopean Sight, I really like this card just because it, gives him vigilance. When you have so few creatures in the deck like I do, it's really nice to be able to block with Zur, so I threw this in there. Eidolon of Countless Battles is one of my new favorite cards from this set. Now, I can just go straight up get him with Zur, and he'll come into play as his effect, the +1 for every aura and creature. But if I ever get to bestow him on Zur, he just becomes another copy of Imperial Armor, or Ethereal Armor. So that's pretty nice. Actually, he's like an Ethereal Armor plus, so that's, yeah. So now we're getting into that was a +1/1 thing, and so was Triclopean Sight. So we're getting to just the boosters. So this one just gives him +1/1 in flying and lifelink. The lifelink is real nice. He already has flying, so it doesn't matter. Steel of the Godhead, same thing, lifelink and unblockable. Unblockable really doesn't matter. It's just the +2 and lifelink for this. Battle Mastery, this is probably one of the key ones that I go and get a lot, just for the fact that it gives him double strike. So now we're into the removal package in the enchantment area. So Reality Acid, this has been one of my favorite cards for a long time. In fact, when I first started playing Magic, when I first came back to Magic after my little stint of being gone, I built a Reality Acid deck that revolved around basically just bouncing this card a lot. Because whenever it leaves play, the enchanted permanent controller has to sacrifice the permanent. So if this gets removed from the game to the end of turn, if this dies, if it comes back to your hand, that permanent has to go away. So it's a very, very good way to solve threats. And with things like Capsize, you're able to, keep returning it and whatnot to your hand. So, and with Venser and whatnot. Standard Oblivion Ring, just, it's another good card. It is oddly worded in that it doesn't work around protections with Zur. The reason, there's a few interesting dynamics with Zur and Shroud that I will get to in a little while here, but Oblivion Ring does not work around those protections because of the way it says. It says when it enters the battlefield, you have to exile a target thing instead of being an aura in itself. It doesn't just come in and attach itself. So, Detention Sphere for the pesky tokens or whatever happens to be plaguing the other side. It's the same exact thing as Oblivion Ring, though, so it cannot itself attach to a protection creature. Like a protection from white, dude. Then we're going to move on to a little bit of token producers, because another thing this deck likes to do is make little tokens, because there's not very many creatures. So we got Sacred Mesas. As long as you're making at least a Pegasus a turn and keeping it around for your next turn, you'll always have that in play. Mobilization just allows you to make soldiers, a lot of them. I mean, the soldiers attacking doesn't cause soldiers to tap, so giving vigilance to soldiers really isn't very effective in the deck, other than the ones that you make, but you know, it's still a pretty good card. Luminarch Ascension, one of my favorite token producing things. If this thing gets to go off, then usually you're a target. A little bit of draw. I got Rhystic Study, and I have more drawback here, but this is just the kind of the value enchantments. So Rhystic Study, Solitary Confinement, which is a kind of a combo, if you will, with this to basically just keep this around as long as you can. Nevermore to take care of some pesky cards. If you really want to, you can name somebody's general, but I usually don't ever do that. Thassa, because she is amazing, and she costs 3, and she's an enchantment. So, yep, Thassa's awesome in this deck. So here is the combo that I was going to explain. So basically, you play Stasis on your turn, and keep up at least 6 mana, excuse me, to be able to play Capsize on the end of their turn. So basically, you play Capsize with the buyback, getting Stasis back to your hand. On your turn, you get to play it again, play Capsize again on the end of their turn, and just keep this Stasis lock up. And your opponent never gets an untapped step ever again. It's kind of a crappy combo, but it wins games. Aura of Silence, a little bit of, you know, oh, I can play enchantments, but you can't, kind of niceness, and you can, you know, take care of some key artifacts or enchantments too. Arcane Laboratory is one of my favorite ones to get, because Zura's ability doesn't count for playing a spell during the turn. It puts it into play, so you're able to effectively play 2 spells, and they're only, you know, allowed 1, so that's pretty nice. It has a little bit of graveyard recursion in here for the very few creatures that I have. Not only that, but you're able to put any creature with a couple of these in play. So if your opponents have some good stuff and you want to get it, you can attack with Zura and just grab it. So I've got Necromancy and Animate Dead for that, and Dance of the Dead. Then we have the kind of lockdown enchantments, ones to take care of those pesky creatures. You've got Pillory of the Sleepless, Cage of Hands, Prison Term, probably the best one. Then we have the Ghostly Prison effects, so we have Ghostly Prison and, of course, Propaganda. Necropotence for the Solitary Confinement semi-lock, I guess. So as long as you're drawing cards with Necropotence every turn, you can never be the target of spells or abilities and prevent all damage that will be dealt to you. So you just basically, if you just keep drawing a card every turn, and you can pitch a card for this every turn. And it's cool and shiny. It's like one of my favorite foils. Not very getting very foily. Anyways, Underworld Connections for a little bit of draw. That's what Necropotence is for, so there's that. And then we move on to the creatures of the deck. So we've got Hero of Iris, making aura spells cost less. Even though they already cost 3 or less, now they'll cost 2. Nomad Mythmaker. If Zur ends up dying and all of his important auras go to the graveyard, it kind of sucks, so you're able to get it back with this guy, so it's really nice. Umbra Mystic, giving things totem armor is pretty nice. Sorry for my heater kicking on. Silent Sentinel, so whenever he attacks, I can return a target enchantment card from the graveyard to the battlefield. Same thing as Nomad Mythmaker, except that this is any enchantment card, not just aura. So it gets back stuff like Necropotence if they kill it, or Solitary Confinement if they kill it. It's a pretty good combo. Also, this is another lock with yeah, stasis. So basically on your turn, if you can somehow give this guy vigilance, then during your upkeep you don't pay the 1, it goes to your graveyard, you can attack with him, let it pass to your opponent's turn, get stasis back, of course, let it pass to your opponent's turn, comes back around, don't pay the 1, he's still vigilance untapped, so you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't really let you untap your mana, but that's okay. Summons a Lost Alara. So this one is basically a different Zur, but with this out and Zur attacking, you get to go get 2 enchantments. This one is any aura, so I can go get, you know, one that costs more than 3, which I don't think I have any in here, but anyways. But with Stritonic Resonator on Zur, you're basically able to effectively go get 3 enchantments. And if you do that, then you're pretty much set up for the rest of the game. If Zur can get the very few key enchantments on him very early, then it's really hard to deal with him. So, Elgaud Shieldmate, just to give Zur hexproof, if you don't have any enchantments on him yet, which you should, and why would you not? Clone to copy some cool creatures that your opponent has, or another creature that you have. Mirror Sigil Sergeant to create them tokens. It's pretty fun to just sit there and watch this guy explode. And Velikan Mastermind, another combo piece for the Stasis combo. So instead of using Capsize, you can just use this guy. So that is the deck in itself. Basically, when it's, like I said, it's pretty much all revolved around Zur. Basically, the thing I want to do the most in the deck is get him out as fast as I can, start swinging face with him, and assembling the Legion of enchantments on him. And usually the ones that I go and get first, it depends on if I'm scared of a board wipe. If I'm scared of a board wipe, the very first thing I'll get is Vanishing. And I mean, if I have the 2 mana up to protect him, I will get Vanishing first. If not, if I'm not scared of a board wipe, and if it's pretty early, say if it's like turn 3 and I'm able to get him out there, even though he costs, 4. So if I'm able to get him out on like turn 3 or 2, if I am lucky, then I will go get Diplomatic Immunity with him when I attack with him first, just because this is pretty much the best one. And with his interaction of like actually putting the enchantments straight into play, it bypasses the ability for him not to be targeted. So getting this is okay, because then every time after he attacks, you're able to go through your deck and put things like, Battle Mastery and whatnot on him. So then after Diplomatic Immunity, I will usually end up getting Necropotence, just to stop my... I don't care if I get to draw or anything in this deck, because Zur just goes and gets it. So what I'll basically do is I'll go get Necropotence to try to, cut down the chance of me drawing one of these, because if I actually draw one of these, I can't put it on Zur, so it's better just to keep him in my deck. And so I'll go get Necropotence. I'll try to keep my hand at 7 as much as I can. Then I'll get Imperial Armor, and then I would get where's it at? Ethereal Armor, and then last but not least, Battle Mastery. And I mean, by the time you get up to Battle Mastery, you really don't need it, but because of how many times you're attacking, because the first time it's 1, the second time it's going to be 8, then it's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, it's going to be 11, 12, and then, Battle Mastery, but that is the entire deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, I really, really like this deck a lot. It's just really cool what the things you can do with this guy. And sometimes I'll switch it up and not just not try to win this way. I'll try to win with other things. I'll go get the token generators and just try to mess around with that. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.